over the past few months, MrBeast's reputation went from YouTube's golden boy who could do no wrong to suddenly in the gutter. Everything kicked off when Ava Chris Tyson was exposed for, well, a load of shady behaviour, a lot of really bad things. And then other things started to come out. So there was alleged MrBeast involvement within these group chats with Ava Chris Tyson sharing, child, and then also, a lot of other things as well, like really bad misconduct within the company, alleged predators being, and convicted predators being hired as MrBeast's management. And high up ranks in the company before getting let go, aka the guy called Delaware, who was apparently Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. It's all well documented. And then you've also got the controversies with Beast Games, which of course was the partnership that he did with Amazon Prime. And then you've also got the more recent allegations of his crypto dealings, which CoffeeZilla did a fantastic deep dive into. Now, the only thing that he's actually responded to in this entire instance was Ava Chris Tyson when it first came around, in which he basically just said, I wasn't aware of anything that was going on, and because of the outroar, I've now decided to let Ava go. They have nothing to do with the MrBeast channel. They have nothing to do with the company. Cut all ties, all right? Apparently. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But yesterday, or about 14 hours ago, Umperville has uploaded a video that has gone on to be titled MrBeast's Response. Okay, the video has got 780,000 views already. And, it's him and MrBeast being confronted by someone and talking about the allegations that have been made about him recently. Now, this kind of came out of the blue. No one really saw this one coming. And I've watched the full 2-hour video. I recommend that you do go and check it out. I think, Umperville was a little bit soft at times with how he kind of portrayed things, but there were certain aspects of it that he did really, really well. I know for a fact that if I was the one asking the questions, I would have pried a lot harder, I think. But, for a response video, I think Umperville did a fine job. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the key highlights and takeaways from this, but there will be a link to the full interview down in the description. So if you want to check out the full video, then feel free to get down into the description. But the first thing that came around was a question asking MrBeast if he will be suing Dogpack 404. So Dogpack 404 was, of course, an ex-employee of MrBeast, and when everything started coming around, he uploaded, I think, 3 videos now at the time of recording, one which has since been taken down. So he's only got 2 live on his channel, going against MrBeast, talking about alleged illegal lotteries, talking about CGI within his videos, talking about how basically there's lots of, people don't get paid what they're supposed to get paid and stuff like this. And this was what MrBeast had to say about that.
Dogpack? Well, there's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true and posting it online. Tons and tons and tons of that. Soggy has basically an hour and 27-minute video, and an hour of it is just flat out proving manipulation and lies and causes a lot of harm to my businesses. I mean, I've literally had people pull out millions of dollars and then tell me it was directly because of his video. And don't worry, I instantly was like, can you send that in writing so, if I win a case or anything, I can directly point damages. No reason why. And so, I mean, it's just unfortunate. I don't want to be put in this situation, but probably going to have to. I mean, it's just, I mean, what do you do if someone's just spreading misinformation about you and, just causing harm to your business and getting it to the point where you might have to potentially fire people because it's costing you so much revenue? It's it's not fair to the people in my companies. You know what I mean? It's just sad. It's not a thing I take joy in, but right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yes.
They're not done drafting it up, but once they're done, more than likely, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's
every law firm I've talked to, they're like, this would be the easiest win they've ever seen in their life. I mean, it's crazy. I had one tell me you could chop up all the evidence into 3,
sue 3 separate times and win all 3 cases because you'd have enough for each. Like one person I was talking to, he's won like 67 out of his last 70 cases, and he's like, this would be literally the easiest case I've ever done. Like it's because there's just so much blatant, misinformation and lies spread. Like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just go watch Sagi's video. Go look at his Twitter where he's redacted multiple ones of it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Now, I find this really weird, right? Now, obviously, if he's got proof and, he's got a case on his hand, then sure, go for it. But if he's sat on all this information that he can disproves Dogpack 404 with videos that went on to get multiple millions of views, right? Some of them even went on to get like 15, 16 million views. Why is he sat on that information? Why is he, like, if it were me, personally, getting attacked by, in this case, and I had the proof sat in front of me that I could disprove everything that was being said, I'd just post it. I'd just be like, look, I hear this, I see this video blowing up. I see that all this stuff's coming out. Here's the proof to disprove everything that's being said about me. Why wait all this time? It just seems a little bit sus, in my opinion. Obviously, he's gone on and said that he's got law firms that will jump at this case, which is absolutely fine. But he does address why, MrBeast addresses why he has been so silent for so long in this clip right here.
And part of that investigation is they recommended that I not talk about drama or really do anything online because it might influence, witnesses or any people they might interview or ex-employees. So it's a little unfortunate because I told them, okay, I'll wait till the investigation is over. And I believe that was literally like a week before the Dogpack video came out. And then truthfully, just in transparency, I've never done one of these like big investigations before. And in my head, it was going to last like 2 or 3 weeks. It ended up taking a couple months, apparently combing through all the documents and doing all the interviews and everything. Just took way longer than I thought because I've never had to bring in a top tier law firm and a former federal prosecutor and let him, do this really big thing. And so that kind of concluded a couple weeks ago when I put out the tweet of the follow-up.
Yeah.
Like that was the day I got the conclusion of it. And I was like, okay, in transparency, I'll throw this out. So up until that point, it was, I had told Quinn Emanuel that, to protect the integrity, I wouldn't do anything or engage in any of this drama. And then after that, yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff had come out between when the investigation started and when it ended. And I was just kind of like, whoa, I don't really know how to like hit this stuff. And I made like a little response video, but it's just kind of not my style, where I just kind of like put a lot of the information that I assume we're going to talk about here out. And it just felt weird. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I've never been in a situation where people have thrown this much stuff at me, and I definitely could have handled it better. Like, I probably should have, like, the second I could have talked, like, I don't remember the exact date, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we put that report out, probably should have done something like this right then. If I could go back in time, I would. And yeah, that's kind of like the brain dump, and then here I am.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, you answered it towards the end, but, like, do you regret that, obviously?
Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would do what we're doing here, because I assume this is like the correct format. It's going to be a little bit more free-flowing and natural, and I wouldn't have wasted so much time like trying to do a response. It's just not my thing. I like so much better, or I'm assuming, I mean, we just started, but I think I'm going to like so much better being asked the questions and answer it instead of just like sitting in a chair like this, answering it. It just feels a little more natural.
Got you. Yeah.
I think that's a fair point to be made, right? To a degree. I mean, like, obviously he could have done this. I know he said that he was trying to keep out of the drama, and he was advised to keep out of the drama for legal reasons and stuff like that, just to try and combat any of the potential backlash that could come from it while the investigation was taking place. Now, the investigation itself obviously came with a lot of scrutiny, right? Because it was basically MrBeast hiring a team to come in, although we said it was a third-party team, to basically mark their own homework. So it was a bit like, it was like he was investigating himself. Obviously, you're not going to dig up any dirt on yourself, are you? Because then, you're really going to get in a lot of trouble. So it was a bit of a weird one. I mean, he does say there that he regrets, obviously, not talking about it sooner. And I guess, it's better than it never coming at all. But you know, he could have definitely handled this whole situation so much better. You know, even if he just went full-blown Logan Paul with one of those vertical ADHD as fuck videos where he's just like green screen and he's like, all this stuff's going on, and then before like 30 seconds has passed, you've got a word salad. Not a lot, you haven't learned a lot, but it just seems like Logan Paul's tried to wangle himself off the hook. You know, take a leaf out of Logan's book, Mr. Beast. You are business partners after all. But obviously one of the big Dogpack 404 criticisms, I suppose, was that Mr. Beast uses a lot of CGI within his videos, obviously to make the sets seem massive, so much bigger than what they are, taking the scale of it from, you know, just a room to suddenly an entire canvas, you know? And this is what his response was to the alleged CGI.
So, why do you choose to use it?
Good question. And yes, I do think rampant use of CGI can undermine it. And I try to do my best to be transparent. Did you ever see So Crispy's video where they showed the behind the scenes of our Squid Game video?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've done lots of BTS videos on them, and we've done other BTS videos. So I try to show it transparently, but let me think about it. I mean, honestly, the truth is, like, obviously there are channels like Corridor Digital and stuff like that, but can you really think of any, like, you know, entertainment channels like mine that really do this, like even have the budgets to kind of do this kind of stuff? It's something I've always thought a lot about, because like we're really pushing boundaries, and like I want to like keep leveling things up, and I think that's a cool way to do it. But it's not like there's some like playbook on how to like incorporate it, right? Because no one else really does it. Like something I was thinking about is like also we rarely use it. Like, I mean, maybe like 0.5%, 0.1% of my shots. You know, like if we have like a background that like doesn't look too cool, like it's just like black, but it looks a little off, we'll just like darken it out in post. Like that's like majority of what we do, or sometimes we'll extend a set. But I was thinking, like, when we do, because we pour millions of dollars into these videos. We build massive sets. Like we go through so much links to make these huge videos. And the last thing I want is people to be like questioning whether or not things are CGI. I mean, like the sets we build are fucking crazy, man. Like it's wild. Like you should come see the like behind the scenes of it. I mean, sometimes we spend 100 days just literally building one room for one shot of one video.
That's insane.
So yeah, I was thinking like maybe just potentially, I don't know, this is the first time I'm saying it publicly, like time stamping in the description when we do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, or like having some like gimmicky thing where like whatever we do, we like put like a little Beast logo on it, so it's like a thing that if people wanted to identify, they could. I mean, I'm down to figure something out. I mean, we just don't really use it that much. It's just like a thing few and far between. But what I really don't want is people to not be able to trust my videos just because occasionally I want to make a wall blacker, or like I want to extend a set a little bit just to make it look cooler, and like you feel in tune with it. Because what we do on its own,
you know, I think again it's one of those responses which was on the surface relatively fair. Obviously, you know, there's the whole situation about like him making the set of the Squid Games one bigger with the fall. Now, obviously, health and safety is going to say you can't have a 200-foot drop, you know, just a sheer 200-foot drop down, because it's not safe. So, obviously, in those instances, to make the sets look bigger and more expansive and immersive and make it feel a bit more like, I guess immersive, yeah. You're going to put in a bit of CGI. So I think that was a fair response from MrBeast in that sense. And it was a good question asked. But obviously the big one, which came off the back of Dogpack 404's video, was the illegal lotteries. Now, obviously, you'll have to go and watch the Dogpack 404 video to kind of get context for that, because, you know, if you haven't seen it, because it can do it far better justice than I can. Yeah. But here's his response.
Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this? What is your just perspective on that?
Yes. So I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. You know, he disproved the two, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason, like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at the moment, that's all I really have to say. Maybe I could do a follow-up in the future. I'm trying to, dig up all the footage from that live stream. This was like many years ago. Like, this isn't like something I did 3 months ago.
Yeah. COVID. Was there any
So there you go. So he kind of like, he doesn't really deny the illegal lotteries or that he did that. But what he does say is, maybe that did happen. I'm trying to really piece that whole one together. But shouldn't that have just come for your like internal investigation that you just spent 3 months doing, and then posted saying that nothing was founded? I find it really weird. Obviously, another massive one that's come out recently is MrBeast dealing with insider crypto. So basically doing illegal pump and dumps where, he's promoting a coin over on his Twitter page, or he's got a company who's come to him and said, we want you to promote this, and then, we'll all make lots and lots of money. And then kind of dumping the coin on the fans once it's been promoted and the stocks are up really, really high. There was questions about MrBeast actually making up like upwards of $24 million just from insider crypto trading. And CoffeeZilla did a really good breakdown and investigation on this. I highly recommend you go and check that out. But MrBeast actually denies any crypto insider dealings.
Coffee's video.
Yeah. Coffee's video and the report. Well, so I'll start off with the report. I mean, most people probably haven't even read it, but that's what kind of spawned that whole thing was this. Did you see it? Like that? Yeah. So the gist of this crypto report that was, 1 second. Sorry. It's not my, the gist of this report was, Jimmy is too stupid to like make this kind of money. Therefore it must be insider trading. This is his wallet. Clearly there was insider trading because he never would have been able to make this kind of money. When in reality, which is what I told Coffee in that statement we gave him, it was managed by a fund. So I wasn't the one managing the wallet. I've never had access to that wallet. I've never done the buying and selling on that wallet. There's a actual professional who's written books on crypto and lived and breathes crypto every second of the day managing it. So most of the allegations there are just answered by I am too stupid to do that. That's why a fund was managing it. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, like Coffee said, if he literally said this in a video. If you like Jimmy, then you're like, yeah, he has answers for everything, and this checks out. And if you don't like Jimmy, then you're gonna go, there's obviously wrongdoing here. But yeah, I mean, the honest truth is I make videos. I'm running 7 businesses. I got a lot going on, and I invested in a crypto fund. They invested on my behalf, and I've never had access to that wallet. They're the one doing the buying and selling. I mean, there are thousands of transactions on there. I don't even have that kind of time. I'm sure you could probably even look at it and see days where I was maybe in solitary confinement or doing a video where I didn't even have access to a computer and there's trading.
True.
So for the conspiracy theorists that think I'm lying and using the fund as a cover up, I mean, there's got to be some way where you could just figure that out, or I was on a plane ride or something. But yeah, that's the honest transparency is, I was in a crypto fund and people thought I owned the wallet and it's called Wu-Tang Clan. Do you listen to Wu-Tang Clan?
I have, yes.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another indicator.
Really?
I wouldn't have named it Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
I had to educate myself on what Wu-Tang Clan was. So
Okay.
yeah.
I think
That's it. And again, this is one of those questions where I feel like Umperville should have pried a little bit harder, asked the harder questions, it was very surface level. Did you deal with the crypto wallet, MrBeast, in a very roundabout way? No. And then he's just okay then, next question. Instead, he should have been all right, well, what about these transactions though? Do you understand that, it looks a bit shady that you've suddenly invested in a coin that's not worth a lot, and then you've promoted it to your audience, and then suddenly that coin has become worth a lot more, and then you've cashed out when it's at its kind of peak. Do you see how that might look a little bit shady? And then obviously that's a much harder question for MrBeast to then answer, instead of, oh, did you mess around with your crypto wallet? Oh no, I gave it to someone else to do. That's why it's called the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't even listen to those guys. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, where it's yes, that's a fine answer that MrBeast has given, but it doesn't answer the deep question of, was this an intentional pump and dump, you know? And that's where, like, I feel like Umperville kind of, like, dropped the ball a little bit, and he could have done a little bit better. But there was also allegations of MrBeast and child slave labor, which was pretty wild. But he addresses this as well.
The company that is the gold standard, that has been living and breathing this for the last 15 years, is Tony's Open Chain, or Tony's Chocolonely. Have you heard of them? Yes. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. They are nuts about this stuff. Like they've done all the research. They live and breathe it, like on how to eliminate child labor, how to, you know, best support the farmers, how to everything you can think of, which I'm about to go in depth on. And so I was like, hey, I need to talk to these guys. These guys know what they're doing. And so I spent a lot of time with them, and we actually formed a joint partnership with where we sourced through Tony's Open Chain with Feastables and Tony's Open Chain when we were moving over there. And this has been a thing well before the controversy. Before anyone says, oh, it's only because of controversy. It was a thing before the controversy. And basically, 100% of Feastables cocoa is fair trade certified, which is expensive. It's basically the most expensive certification you can have on it, which for most chocolate companies would be enough. You'd get your cocoa fair trade certified, and then, like, do you even know what fair trade certified means? Mm-hmm. Okay, do you think your viewers know? No. So if someone was like, you're unethical, and I just said, my beans are fair trade certified, my chocolate, 99% of people would be like, okay, good enough, that makes sense. So, like, I could have just hid behind that, but I didn't think fair trade, I don't think that's enough. And so not only are 100% of Feastables beans fair trade certified, but 100% of them, we also pay a living income reference price. Have I mentioned any of this to you before? No. Okay, so 100 living income reference price, this is why it's hilarious how people are like claiming we unethically source our cocoa. And I'm ready to lay this out because everyone who said I use slave labor and I don't care, I hope you delete your videos because you were literally spreading severe disinformation. So for us, one of the main drivers of child labor in cocoa is poverty. Like, they don't make enough money. So you can't just go to a farmer and say, don't use child labor, because if they can't afford to pay a grown-up, then you're telling them, hey, go starve. You know, they have to make money. So one of the ways you can eliminate child labor is you have to pay a living income. So there's a thing called living income reference price where they look at, and tell me if I need to dumb it down or whatever, I don't know. But they look at inflation, the cost of bread, basically the cost of living in these areas in West Africa. And they say, hey, if a farmer sells you a metric ton of cocoa, they need to get paid blank to actually be able to live. If you're paying under that, it's just not reasonable for them to live, which then will mean for them to live, they're gonna have to use child labor. So 100% of our beans, we pay a living income reference price. So if a farmer theoretically sold us a metric ton of cocoa for, I'll make up a number, $800, and the living income reference price is $1,000, we'll go, hey, we actually want to pay you $1,000 for that, a $200 premium on top of it to make sure you make enough money to live off of. And that's what we do for all our beans, which is like crazy. You know what I mean? But if we're doing this, you know, we don't want child labor on the farms. And so there's child labor mediation system, and there's a lot of stuff. And this is where Tony's has been great to work with. You know, we have people who check in on the farms and, you know, interview the families, interview the kids. If there are cases, remediate it, follow up, make sure the case was remediated. And it's about part of solving child labor is making sure the farmers make more money. So we also have coaches that will work with farms to, you know, on their theoretical hectare, see if there's any way they can educate them so they can get 10% more yield. So for the same farm, they can make 10% more money. Therefore, they're not as in poverty, so it's easier.
Fair answer. I can't argue with that. I didn't really know too much about that heading into it. I didn't even know that MrBeast was being accused of child labor. And it's pretty wild. Now, like I say, this interview has swung one of two ways. And just like Coffeezilla said in his video, it was either going to be, if you don't like MrBeast, you are going to find lots of flaws in it. And if you do like MrBeast, you were going to think that this was him off the hook. And that divide has never been more real, right? As over on Twitter, literally, like, the Internet Anarchist, who's probably one of my favourite YouTubers to watch, made a post in response to this tweet here, which says, say what you want about how soft MrBeast's interview was from Umperville. I think he did a good job in the short time that he had to prepare. There was stuff missing. There wasn't always pushback, but it was miles better than the Dogpack interview that I saw. The accompanying docket was probably the most hard-hitting stuff, and that's kind of a shame that people won't see it. Overall, I think this exceeded expectations I had going in, to which the Internet Anarchist said, Umpa did a great job, all things considered. I know for a fact that I would not be able to pull off such an interview with pretty much no notice or time to plan. Very glad that this didn't end up being a channel like Colin and Samir, etc., who don't really engage in the internet drama. Not to discredit them in any way. So, as you can see, obviously, you know, people have said, like, it's really, really good. But then on the thread that I've just taken a look at for the clips that I've got, people have been like, you know, Jimmy proved absolutely nothing. Doesn't prove anything. His best homie was also a pedo transsexual. You know, that was obviously in reference to Ava Chris Tyson. Who cares? He's overpaid anyway. Yeah, Dogpack 404 is in generational debt. Anyway, you know, what do you guys think about this? Is MrBeast off the hook? Does this answer all of the criticisms? Obviously, there's a lot more context that's gone into in the Umperville video, but I'll leave a link to that down in the description, and a lot more things are answered. There were a lot of things that were missed, a lot of the controversies that were missed, but, you know, we have to take into consideration, I suppose, that there was little turnaround time to get this video prepared, and like questions prepped. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.